How long has your business been open?
Murphy's Wagon has been open as Murphy's for 54 years. It's been a restaurant. It was for 69 years then. So we're the second oldest restaurant in the state of Nebraska, actually.
What is the nature of your business?
We are a bar and restaurant, so we serve the community of Hastings.
Do you have a mission statement?
Provide the best service you can provide.
What's your target audience or market? Like, what are you looking for your customers?
Right now, we try to target more towards the college students, just with having 2 colleges in town. We try to market on Facebook and stuff to try to reach those kids a little bit more, where we can get more of that younger base in here. We have a lot of retirement people and people who have been coming to Murphy's for a long time that have been loyal customers for many years. So we already have a lot of that, so we are trying to outreach to more of those young college students that are coming into Hastings that have never been here, as this is just a staple of Hastings that we really would like to branch out to those kids.
What's your process for recruitment for new employees?
We use, again, Facebook, and then kind of word of mouth through our other employees. We have used, I think other ways. We've contacted the colleges and we have them put things on their bulletin boards and send out like mass emails that we're looking for people. We've kind of done everything that we could do to try to find people because it's just been such a harder thing to do lately.
Yeah. How about like training like new employees and stuff? How long is that? How's that like kind of look?
We don't have like a set number day of trainings, just because people who come from the industry usually train a little bit quicker, that have worked on a POS system and have dealt with any type of service job dealing with people. It's usually a little quicker to train them. So I'd say anywhere from 3 to 5 days of training is what it takes.
How about people that aren't familiar with that system?
I would say 5 days minimum for them, and usually by then they're comfortable enough being on their own after 5 days that we may still kind of be at bay for questions, but that way they're still feeling on their own and a little bit more independent so that they can kind of learn. But we don't really have like a set way of training. It's, you know, what you learn at your pace, and if it takes you a little longer, then you're just gonna train for a few more days. And I want you to be comfortable. I don't wanna put somebody out on the floor to sink. That's not the point. They come here to make money. You got to train them so that they can do the best of their ability to take care of our customers, so our customers want to come back.
What are some benefits the employees get?
We do a $50 recruitment fee. So like if somebody recruits a friend and they stay on for 3 months at a time, then for at least 3 months, then they get a $50 add-on to like a bonus onto their check for recruiting those people. Other than that, with the service industry, they're required government pay, so they like $2.13 an hour is what it is. We pay our employees $4.50 an hour as servers, and then $6.50 as bartenders, and then upstairs we do a little bit more because it's a lower customer base. So we give them a little bit of an incentive to like want to be at work. They're going to get a paycheck, whereas when I've worked corporate before, I didn't receive paychecks for multiple months because I made enough in tips that it would cover my minimum wage, and that $2.13 was going to the government. So it was just, it's something where these kids, they work and then they still get a paycheck every 2 weeks, which is nice.
What are some company values?
Being a family-owned business, I'd say we value the number one thing is our customers, but the other thing we do value is also our employees, and it's a fine line of how like you're gonna treat our employees, and if we have people who have not treated our employees properly, that we've asked them to not come back, and we don't want to do that, but like we need to make sure that they feel safe and comfortable in a work environment, and that's like the most important thing to me, because like these people make sure that the company is being taken care of, they're following the rules, they're doing the things that they need to do, so I need to make sure that they feel comfortable being in the business.
When you conduct interviews, what are some things you're looking for an employee? Like, what do you want out of this business?
We look highly for people who are motivated and people who are willing to learn, because family-owned businesses are very different from corporate. I think as long as you're teachable, most of the time it's pretty easy for you to come in and work with us. But yeah, responsibility, reliability, those are like two big things that I look for in people.
How do you keep your small business employees from feeling burnt out?
That's definitely a hard one. We're open 6 days a week, so we do get Sundays off. It's more, I'd say more our cooks for that burnout is more for that side versus our service. Because like on the service nights, we have girls who, we only have 2 girls who work on Mondays and Wednesdays, and 3 girls who work on Tuesdays, and then 4 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's like we have lesser people, so that helps give the other people a night off. I'd say for service-wise, the girls only work 2 to 4 days a week, and then have 3 to 4 days off. And then for the cooks, some of them do work 6 days a week, and most of them want that because this is their full-time job. So they like that, and that Sunday gives them that time off. And then most of the time we never try to put anybody on a double so that they're not feeling burnt out. You know, they're here, they're working that normal night shift from 4 to 11 o'clock.
What does goal setting look like in your company, and how do you manage the results?
Things that we do for goal setting are, I mean, really I take that probably month by month so each month we find something that we can be better at, because there's always something in a business that you can do better at. So we find one thing that we pick out and we really work on that, and then if it's, you know, February we didn't sell very many specials. So for March we're gonna really push specials, and whoever sells like the most specials, then they'll get a free meal or something like that. You know, we try to do something that it just gives them a little incentive, but also helps us push to what we need to do better at. And for things like for back of the office for better goals, more organization, like so much stuff has been paper and pencil in such an old business that like technology has taken over so much of some of the things that we do now. So it's like trying to organize all that and keep things on the same page as like maybe what our owner or our owner's dad feel is like the appropriate way. That's so our way to like achieve that is like just we sit down, we have monthly meetings, we try to communicate and make sure that we're like all on the same page. All 3 of us are not very technologically inclined, so it is a little bit hard where we're all like, we're very paper pencil people, so it's like it's nice to have like some of the girls who are like in college and they're like, oh, I know how to use this, so we're gonna do it this way, and I'm like, oh, that's so perfect, great. Canva, what a great thing, never even knew it.
So would you say that like sometimes trying to like adapt to changes like within technology is kind of harder for like a small business?
Very much so, and like obviously having a POS system is like a necessity to get tickets back to the kitchen that they can read, and learning like your computer system is kind of something that doesn't change very often. That's going to be a very set common thing, but things like QuickBooks, and when your internet doesn't want to work and then you never can get logged into something, and then you have multiple accounts for beer, liquor, food, and those are all coming out EFT from different accounts, and some people use fintech and some people want it directly from your account, so you have to like fill out all this paperwork to make sure that they're coming out, and then if they're not, it can just be like trying to stay like I said again, trying to stay organized for the technology side of things gets a little bit hectic, and that's partially part of business when you're doing all the places you buy things from. So for an example, we have 4 liquor companies, we have 2 beer companies, we have 4 food companies, and then we get like all of our meat through Custom Pack locally. So it's like there's just so many different businesses to try to like keep separate within one business.
Have you guys done any outsourcing for like payroll or training or anything like that?
No, we really haven't. We haven't really even looked into that. I mean, I just feel family owned. They have a very set way of the way the store has ran for so many years that's the way that they like it to be trained. So whether that's me training it or Jameson training it, or us training one of the girls to train somebody new, it's just like they have just kind of always had it that way. And it's just so that we have the service that we can provide to the best of our ability and make sure that these girls are doing the things that we know have worked for so many years.
What HR practices have you guys put in place that ended up not working, and why did they work out?
We did try like computer testing for training purposes, and it just seemed like in those first like 5 days you might remember a few items on the menu to take the test, and then like in the long run you actually weren't learning it. It's kind of like in school, you know you have a test, so you're gonna study really hard for this portion of for this test, and then once you pass the test, like how much of that did you actually retain? So, and I feel like it was very much like that, whereas I think hands-on, especially in this type of business, is the best policy, just being hands-on and learning it up front. And some of it just takes time. The computer system takes time, and learning food, especially when you've worked at other places that have food also, it's hard to learn everything that comes on a certain sandwich or a certain burger, and when it comes up in the window, what does it look like? And those are things that you just kind of learn over time, seeing it, doing it, just the work of repetition.
How do you measure if a strategy that you have put in place for your company is working? Like, what does success look like to you guys?
Happy customers, returning customers, low amounts of voids. For us, like, we can track voids for deletes, and sometimes they're honest mistakes where it's not a problem, simple, but sometimes too, like, you can see if one person constantly is doing the same thing, then we know they're kind of where they're messing up, and that, hey, maybe that was a training problem, that we didn't train properly, so we need to take them aside and we need to revisit this.
How do you ensure that employees are safe on the job? What precautions do you take?
Well, we obviously have food safety and then building safety, and we have people come in who, the fire department, and we have to pass all of our tests and stuff, but also just for our own girls' goods, like in the kitchen, the guys have to wear non-slip shoes, but the girls don't go in the kitchen. So like, we don't make the girls wear or I shouldn't say girls because we do have boy servers. We don't make our servers wear like non-slip shoes, just because if they're on their feet all day, it's what they're comfortable in. So kitchen guys wear that, they wear hairnets, they wear gloves. And then for safety, I mean, we have an open fire grill, we got fryers, that stuff's hot. They wear aprons, they're not allowed to wear shorts, just kind of uniform to keep you safe and protected from some of that stuff. And behind the bar, I mean, breaking a glass occasionally, you're just gonna clean it up properly and use your dustpan. You're gonna make sure obviously they're gonna have shoes on. So there's just like not a lot behind the bar that's super unsafe. Our stairs are kind of crazy at our store because there's so many different levels. And that's hard, like, just pay attention, guys. We have handles, but most of the time their hands are full, so just being mindful of what could be a danger in our store, and being mindful of that and hoping that we don't have any issues. And I mean, I've been here for 9 years, so like, for the most part, I haven't seen too much crazy stuff happen.
When like you have employees and they're doing things like food safety stuff like that, or like fire hazards, like a lot of people's safety training, at least like for me personally in past jobs, has been online. Do you guys do safety training like that online or in person?
It's all in person. Yep, everything's in person. And maybe us looking into doing something online could be something different, but again, we're those paper pencil people, so it's just always been kind of a hands-on, and with it being family owned, like, we're not a corporate, we're not required to give them tests where they have to pass with a certain percentage for anything specific. For things like up here, like they have to take a mixology class, and that's like the craziest thing that we have to do up here. And that's just for kind of learning and safety a little bit on that aspect, and making sure you're handling things properly when you're mixing so much alcohol, and knowing your contents of how much you can serve and all that stuff. So that's important in the aspect of making sure that we're doing the correct things on our side of the business.
Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.
Perfect.